Hello, love. Welcome home to Eden. So, I have this friend named George Sweeney, who's an old Irish, gang member who's become this brilliantly loving bladesmith, dear friend of mine. And he tells me about his father in the war. He tells me about how when his father was sent off to war, went off to war many years back, his whole group of guys that he enlisted with, all of them were circumcised by the army. And they entered into the whole war situation with excruciating pain in their cocks, trying to do all these exercises and everything while they've just gone through this torture of basically castration. So don't you think it's strange to take men who are about to go off to war to fight for their country, to be heroes, and strip from them some of their masculine power? I mean, right when they need all of that cock energy, all of their masculine power to fight for the country, you circumcise them then? It's so cruel. It's like brainwashing, though. It's like we take from you your power, your masculine energy, because actually what we're asking you to do is kill and die. So we just take it all. So now my father was in the same war, and he escaped that when they were, that tradition it didn't fall on him when he entered. And so what he was told that his uncircumcised penis would need to be washed all the time. And so when they rationed water in the foxholes and everything, he wasn't allowed to drink it. He didn't think he was allowed to drink it because he had to wash his cock. Now, but this is all part of the lie that the soft liquids within his foreskin were so negative and bad and dirty that they would give him rashes. Of course, we need to wash once in a while, but in general, those are to protect the man, and they would protect the man. And except for these beliefs that have been passed along about your naturalness being a problem when it's all created in a perfect way, both for the pleasure of the woman and the protection of you as a man. When I heard that about the men being circumcised before they go off for training and boot camp and all of that, and being in torture, I mean, it just broke my heart, because here are these men volunteering to help, and they need their masculine power. Why strip them? But the why strip them is a very good question to ask ourselves. Why strip you? Why use you? Why take from you when you are giving so much? You're giving your lifeblood. It comes down to the same reason that they would overwork you. All these men are working these extreme hours. I go out doing my solar and I see these men completely wiped out. I mean, they're doing 80 hours, 60 hours. They're so done. There's nothing left. There's no joy anymore, because they never get a moment besides that one Sunday afternoon to have a life that means more than just work. But this is the lie that is being fed to you about your masculinity, that your masculinity is based on how much you can be tortured and torture yourself and never get anything feminine other than grabbing sex. I mean, how are you going to have sex with a woman if you can't have romance with her, and if you can't have Sundays, more than just Sundays with her, dinners with her, and vacations? And you can't. You either have to have no sex because you numb out, or you have to grab it in a really numbed out, disconnected way. Why? Why Why are we buying this? Why as Americans do we put up with this? You know how this all changed in other countries, in Italy, where they have all these countries where they have like 2-hour breaks in the middle of the day to go home and make love, and 30-hour weeks, and like in Germany and in Italy, like what is it? All these paid vacations, weeks and weeks and weeks of them every year, and like more than 10 to 20 paid holidays throughout. I mean, why? How did that happen? People stood up, they fought, they actually hit the streets to have a life. But somehow the American psychology is that because we're so independent, we trade for this quote freedom, that we don't want to pay taxes. We think that we feel guilty to ask for even just a 5-day a week instead of a 6-day a week. I mean, on my solar team, the only guy that could have a 5-day a week schedule was the one who said he had a child who he needed to take care of on that day. So I said to them, look, I'm not going to do it. I was smart, though. I became one of their top performers right away. And then I told them I'm not going to continue unless I have a 5-day work week. And once I got that, then I fought for the whole team to do an experiment. See if people's numbers go up or down if you give them time off. And sure enough, everybody's numbers went up when we all had 5 days a week. But 5 days a week isn't even like, it's still too much. Like when you like, if you want to have a life that we want to learn other things and have time in nature, and we have to start opening up as Americans to the wisdom of other countries and stop being so self-centered and thinking that we are so ahead of people. We are brainwashed into being used. We're brainwashed into allowing our lives to be stolen by the workaholic machine and the war machine that would take control over your body and steal from you your life. So to be that hero for yourself, where you stand up to the machine, is pretty intense, isn't it? Because it means you actually are going up against all your bosses, all the people above you who are all buying into the lie and pressuring you and pressuring everybody below them for their bottom line of needing like to squeeze it out of you so they can get more money. Well, that's their priorities are so sick because they're not valuing the friendship of their coworkers, their sense of their masculinity as how well they can pressure you and manipulate you. So bonding in other countries, it happens with over, drinks after work and vacations together among coworkers of all different stratospheres. I mean, I saw this in Puerto Rico. When I was in Puerto Rico, one time I was actually living on a beach in a tent, and all of these yachts would come up to the tent where I was living because I was taking a year to just do my art in nature. And it was so fun because every yacht, it would be like the president of the bank owned the yacht, but he had on the yacht every person in the bank, all the people who were the tellers, all the people in the back rooms, all the janitors. They were all on the boat having the big party. So when you change your priorities to be not about the bottom line, but just, we want to be successful as a business, but the bottom line is how we are living and getting along together, then it's very interesting because these companies actually do very well. They do not suffer and do less. The countries in Italy that have some of the best time off for their workers and share the profits the most, Lardini Corporation, really good with their workers. They're doing fantastic all over the world. It's not a trade-off. It's actually the opposite. When you work less, when you study less, you have much higher productivity on the job and much more alertness and much more joy. That's why, was it Finland went from the bottom of the world list in terms of education? They were at the bottom along with America, I mean the United States, and they go within a matter of years. They had this goal to go to the top of the world, and they did by shortening the school day to only, sometimes some of the school days were like 3 hours a day, for different age groups, like 3 days a week, 4 days a week, no homework. They took away all homework. And the productivity and the alertness and the awakeness of the children went sky high. And now they're at the top of the world for education. And the kids know 3 to 4 languages. I mean, it's really incredible how much we learn and grow when we have time off to socialize, to be in nature, to explore our interests. So where I got here to the place of them overworking you, from the place of them stealing your foreskins in the war, and basically, I mean, to me, it's like trying to make eunuchs. It's trying to make, it's really, really unfair. It's no one has the right over your body as a man. No one. And no one has the right to work you so hard that you don't have a life, and to threaten you that you're not as masculine if you so much as ask for your feminine to be nourished. So you're a whole being. You're not going to have joy without your feminine, the part of you that flows, the part of you that does nothing, the part of you that just takes things in, the part of you that's intuitive and artistic and sensual and sexual and emotional, and wants to have time with your family, your kids, and your wife. That part of you, it's all about joy and love. That makes you a whole man. That's what makes you a whole man. Okay. And your whole cock, your intact cock, is part of that. It's part of that.